Welcome to Subramani. I'm going to talk to you about a concept called dividend cuts. What am I trying to drive at? Largely, I am a equity investor and I am in the dividend growth investing mode. Now, I'm not going to classify myself as I only invest in dividend paying companies, because I've invested in companies which are in growth phase also. So what happens is, when you are concentrating on dividend, first of all, it is easier to concentrate on dividend, is more easy to predict than predicting the price of a share. For example, I bought Coal India at 119 rupees. I know that the company pays about 20 rupees as dividend. Just imagine the fantastic dividend yield that I am getting. Now the price today is about 230 or 235 or something like that, but I am continuing to get a fantastic dividend yield on my cost. Even at this price, it's a good dividend yield, but it allows you to concentrate on the dividend rather than concentrate on the share price. Having said that, you run the risk of there being a dividend cut. Can a company which is doing well cut dividends? Well, maybe they can cut dividends because it is temporary, some setback, or there could be any other reasons also why there is a setback. So what are the things that you should see to avoid this surprise of dividend cut? It is not that you can be perfectly well prepared that there will be no dividend cuts. There will be dividend cuts. There are various things that you have to do. One is, first of all, have a very diversified portfolio, but we'll come to that later. I'm jumping the gun. So first thing is to concentrate on something called the dividend payout ratio. What is the dividend payout ratio? You see what proportion of the earning per share the company is paying. Suppose you have invested in a company where the EPS or earning per share is 10 rupees and the company is paying you 3 rupees dividend, which means you know that the company is paying you 30% of the earning. Now, when the company pays 30% of the earning, you should be very comfortable because there is a huge gap which is available. So, if there is a temporary setback in the earning, say next year the earning goes to 9 rupees, they may not cut the dividend because they have such a big cushion. What is the range at which I am comfortable? Anything from 30 to 60% I am comfortable. Below 30, it means the company is still in the growth phase, which is good because tomorrow the dividend could go up, because you also want the dividends to keep increasing. So 30% dividend payout is very comfortable. Up to 60 is also comfortable. But certain companies borrow to pay dividend. That is a bad sign. When you are looking at the dividend payout ratio, there are two things which happen. Companies which are in the growth phase cannot pay dividends at all. Then slowly they start paying dividends. Then they are able to pay dividends much longer. Now, for a company like, say, Bharti Airtel, they have been investing quite a bit. Now, once it's ultimately a utility company. So, as a utility company, the earnings will be very stable. So, if they are not needing to expand, or invest in new technology, 5G, 6G, 7G, whatever, they will be able to increase the payout. So typically looking at an electricity company or a toll bridge company, right? I mean, Noida toll bridge used to be a high dividend payout. The fact is it is in trouble because of ILFS. That's a different matter altogether. But typically infrastructure companies can pay better. So if I find a utility which is paying 60-70% of its earning, and it has been doing this consistently for the 8-9 years or 10 years, a track record that I can see, then I would prefer that to a company which is a industrial manufacturing company which has kept on increasing its payout ratio from 35 to 70. Right. So if it keeps increasing, it means the company is unable to earn enough to be able to pay a higher dividend. I want a company to earn enough to hold the payout ratio constant and still keep increasing the dividend. What am I saying? So first year, let's say the company earned 10 rupees, it paid 3 rupees as dividend. Next year, I want the company to be earning, say, 15 rupees just for calculation purposes, and pay me 4.5 rupees as dividend. So I want my dividends to increase without the payout ratio increasing. Certain companies like, say, FMCG, they may not need money to expand. For example, a Colgate or a HUL don't really need money to expand because they outsource most of their manufacturing activity. It is only a brand based activity which they are doing. So if their volumes go up, they go up because some outsourced third party manufacturer is manufacturing more, so it does not increase their depreciation or their other cash flows, loan repayment, nothing of that sort. So these companies are again able to pay well. Certain businesses do not need the cash. For example, asset management companies. So when you are evaluating 4 asset management companies, look at the company which is willing to pay out best, because they don't really need the company. It's a cash business. They keep generating cash. So when they don't need the money, why do they keep it with themselves? We can use it more efficiently ourselves. So I look at all those things and see what is sustainable. Is the payout ratio increasing? That's a red herring. So you have to keep looking. I said red herring, I meant red flag. So some of these signals you look for and say, I have to be careful, and I'll be careful about holding the share for too long. So if I find that I get a 10% or a 12%, which is a fantastic dividend yield in Coal India, should I be putting all my money in Coal India? Answer is no. I should have some IT companies, I should have some, maybe a hospital, maybe some commodity company. I should have a mixed nice portfolio with which I can grow my dividends rather than concentrating too much on one share, right? What happens if coal prices fall tomorrow or something else, if the salaries go up dramatically, which is perfectly possible in a PSU, right? If any of these things happen, then your dividend will go for a toss. So you need to have a balanced portfolio, but largely look for companies which are not increasing the payout ratio but are still increasing dividend. That's a very good signal that the dividend cuts in this company may not happen. At least you can't predict too much into the future. Next 2-3 years, you are sure that this won't happen. What are the other things that you should look for? You should obviously be looking for some of the basic characteristics of a growth company. If the earning per share should be increasing, there is no point in saying the earning per share is not increasing, therefore the dividend is also not increasing. This is a great case for one day the dividends is vanishing, and there are great companies which have been in this list. GE has been on that list, IBM, Coca-Cola, all of them have slashed dividends in the past, right? So so you have to be careful. The earning per share should be growing, the business should be growing, all that should be happening. That is the base. You cannot say I just look at dividend yield and buy the share. That's wrong. It's a very bad way, because then you do not know the difference between a value buy and a value trap. Maybe you are walking into a value trap. Maybe it looks very attractive today, but there is something bad happening in the industry, so there is no growth. So suddenly one day the company would just shut down. So forget your dividend, you won't get anything from that. I mean, forget the amount of dividend which you're getting, it won't be slashed, it will just vanish. So you have to be careful about seeing how the company is growing, what is happening in the company. All that is also important, not just the dividend payout ratio. So it is okay to invest in cyclical companies. I mean, auto is cyclical in many parts of the world. You have commodity companies which are cyclical. Even banking sometimes could be cyclical. There will be a base banking which happens, but in a boom, banks will lend more and earn more money, right? So many businesses are cyclical. IT is not supposed to be cyclical, but IT depends a lot on what is happening in the US. So if the US goes through a recession, your earnings of IT company could get hit. So you have to be careful about that. So look at the business model, see what is working, and then take a decision. Don't just take the payout ratio and take a decision. Look, you have business consideration. Is the business growing? Is it doing well? Right? So if it is landline phones, you know it's not doing well. Everybody has a hand phone today, right? Everybody carries a mobile. So people are surrendering the landline. So if you are a shareholder of MTNL, that is bad news for you. Every day people are coming and surrendering phones. People are not buying landlines. People are buying only mobile phones. So keep a track of the business model, because you may be sitting smug saying, oh, this company was not declared, not reduced dividend, but suddenly one day they could be reducing dividend. So also keep seeing what is the debt that the company has, because the greater the debt repayment, again the debt coverage ratio. If the company has a high debt coverage ratio, then you are comfortable, because even if interest rates were to go up a little, or the business was not doing well and the interest rates and some loan had to be repaid, or any of those things happen, they will not cut dividend to conserve cash flow, because they already have a nice capacity to borrow. So look at the debt equity ratio and see how much they have actually borrowed and what is the debt service coverage ratio, DSCR. Calculate all these ratios and make sure that you are on the right path, because it's nice to say I'm a dividend seeking investor, but if you do not know how the dividend is coming and how the dividend can get reduced, then it is you're in dangerous territory, right? So look at the amount of debt they have, look at the amount of acquisitions they do. I would be very happy if a company which is paying me dividend does acquisition and can't pay dividend, because it means the money is getting used better. But if you are a retired person and you're living off that income, then that income is important for you. So too much debt, too many acquisitions, these could be red flags for you, and you have to be careful about all these things. When you are careful about all these things, you can avoid a surprise dividend cut. That's all. You cannot avoid the cut, but at least you are anticipating, you're reducing position, you're doing things like that. So the impact of the dividend cut will be less on you. Thank you.